Alright guys, Papa Pepper, working on a number of things today, representing the sapper gardener. But around here, you know, try to do things frugally, try to do things in a way that makes sense, try not to waste anything, and try to use everything. So, for instance, I'm on a path on the perimeter of my property. Eventually, I plan on building a little bit of stuff up over here behind me, and the garden area will come through the rest of this. Some of these trees here that you see are going to stay. Some of them are pretty beat up, pretty haggard. They'll be dropping giant branches and stuff in the near future. I don't need that happening, you know, dropping branches on top of my kids or my livestock. So we'll be taking down some more of them. But as I kind of create this giant mess out here, which is what you see behind me, just a mess of some things. It's all resources for me. So the one thing I'm doing, I'm leaving some of the bigger logs for lumber, and actually might work out a deal with the guy down the street to get his small, you know, sawmill. If I get that on the property, then I won't have to take runs to go get wood, and the wood that I actually have here, I can start creating things out of. I can mill it to whatever I want, whatever dimensions. That'll come in handy as we build and work on different projects. And also, you know, I mean, you can make some nice rustic end tables or stools or chairs or other things to export from the property as a potential source of income. And we've got all these ones here that we're going to use for firewood. I'm just cutting them to a size that's manageable, that I can move them at the moment. And one of the things we're going to use to heat some stuff might be heating a greenhouse with a rocket mass heater. Plan on heating our own house with wood as well, just to cut down on the amount of propane we need. And then you got cedar. So all this stuff, I'm not really going to chip or shred and use as a mulch, but cedar burns really hot. So periodically, if I harvest deer in the wild, or if we harvest one of our animals, you're going to have the carcass left over, you know, the bones and everything else after you have all the meat. Now I can bury that and use it, you know, where something's going to run some deep roots that it'll have some source of different things like calcium in the future, or we can burn it. If we're going to burn it, we're going to use cedar, because cedar burns really hot. It works really good for what we call a Viking funeral. Then you're not enticing scavengers like coyotes or vultures or different things to come to your property, which is smart. The bigger cedar, this guy laying here behind me, we're going to use as posts that we're going to build onto. So I am going to do a couple different things on the property too, maybe with some smaller fences and stuff that I'll use cedar for. But all of my builds right now, my quail pen, my chicken pen, chicken coop, chicken building, duck building, and then the mini barn, are all using cedar posts for the actual corners of it, the actual wall supports, the uprights, you know, support for it. Then we've got all of the other branches, like right here, sorting that out. And I've got a chipper shredder. Run that through the chipper shredder, make our own wood chips. Use that to kind of suppress the walkways and different things in the garden. And eventually, you know, that'll break down too. Maybe turn into a form of soil, that type of stuff. And then we have our rotten wood, right? Okay, this stuff is crumbly. It's rotten. Well, the cool thing about rotten wood is that's going to work great for a hugel mound. We're not going to be burning rotten wood in our fires, and we don't really want to bury, you know, fresh, good wood. So if we're able to take the rotten wood, pile it up and save it, then, and I already have some in some of my raised beds where I just kind of threw down some rotten wood first and then started adding different things on top of it. They're not really mounded up, but as deep as they are, the bottom layer is often some rotten wood and stuff too. So, and then the other thing, of course, we have is rocks. So you can see behind me a little bit on the fence line, there's some big rocks over there. I want on each side of my fence line for there to be a nice layer of rocks. That way, if I've got our dog running out in here, it's not digging underneath and getting out. And if you've got coyotes or different things, they're not digging under and getting in. If there's a layer of rock on each side of the cattle panel, that's going to work out a lot better. So it's interesting, but I want to view everything as a resource. I want to view everything as something beneficial. The more I can kind of use things on my own property, the less money I'm going to need, because I'm not going to have to buy these resources. And then we're going to be able to just kind of work in harmony with what we got going on. And even, I'm taking out some of these trees here, but there's going to be other trees that are planted. My garden looks pretty level at the moment, but there's quite a few trees in there already that are going to grow up as time goes on. And we're just trying to phase out what we got, because a lot of this, even if you look, this is nothing but a nasty tangled web of greenbrier. I don't need greenbrier taller than me and giant thick things that's going to get my sheep caught up in it. It's going to cut us up and things like that. Like I said in my previous videos too, when it shoots up in the spring, I'll be able to eat that, and I think it'll actually take a couple of years of it really not being able to grow before that tuber is finally going to fizzle out. So we should have some a source of food from stuff like that too for years to come. So we got our work to do. My boy's helping me today. We're just trying to sort through everything, make things on piles. I can drive my truck and trailer right up here, move the pile of cedar stuff, pick up the logs, do different things, and have access to it. I'm actually going to be able to drive, from in my driveway all the way through up here and then to this area here, which is, like I said, I have a build. I'm planning on building here too. I think it'll look really cool. I think it'll be really neat, and hopefully we'll get to that point soon enough. All right, we got to get back to work. Papa out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.